are the famous, or I can say the top of flagship programs at Monash University?
For students interested in studying entrepreneurship at Monash Business School, we have a entrepreneurship elective program that students can enroll into. One of it is called Fast Track, which allows students to basically develop their entrepreneurship or business ideas, and we help nurture it over the course of 2 semesters so that students can go from just a simple idea to a full-on business pitch. And they actually do get to pitch these ideas to possible backers who are keen to help students launch their own successful entrepreneurship.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Thought Cast, where we dive deep into higher education and uncover what makes some of the top universities stand out. And today we have a special guest with us from one of the prestigious universities of Australia, Monash University, a proud member of Group 8, which represents the top research incentive universities in Australia. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Lovely to be here. Thanks for having us. So I'm glad. I'm surprised you've done a little bit of research on how many years I've had in experience. I am a senior student recruitment coordinator for Monash Business School, but I've been basically working in international education for just a little over 15 years.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm so excited to dive in our conversation. Let's jump on our first question. So, Patrick, Monash University has always been a forefront for innovation in education, and it's a part of prestigious Group 8, which combines the top research-oriented universities in Australia. And so, how does this help students in providing more opportunities, and how does it sets Monash University apart from different other universities?
Right. Good question. So as you mentioned, we are part of the Group of 8. And the Group of 8, for those of you who are not familiar, is a collection of 8 universities across Australia who are basically the leaders in tertiary education. We do a lot of groundbreaking research. And for Monash University, we use the research that the university conducts to continuously update the curriculum and the core subjects that you are learning. So that way, graduates who just joined us are constantly learning from what's being developed in the field, what trends are changing. And with that knowledge, it makes them more career ready when they go out, because they know exactly what to expect, what the current climate is, for example, because if, let's say, using business, for example, right, what the current geopolitical situation is, and how it can impact economic trends, right? So this is all stuff that we do research in. It feeds into the curriculum and helps students become more career ready.
That's incredible, and I think being the part of Group 8 really sets Monash apart and gives a lot of opportunities to students. Speaking of accreditation, there's another accolade for Monash University, and it's a part of prestigious AACBS, EQUIS, and AMBA. An accolade that only 129 business schools worldwide have achieved. So can you please explain firstly to our students like what it is and how does it help students?
Sure. Okay, so the 3 accreditations, EQUIS, AMBA, and AACSB, they are accreditations that are industry recognized from different parts of the world. So, for example, EQUIS is predominantly an accreditation that is found in the European countries. AACSB is for Americas, and then the AMBA is international, right? So AMBA is a association of MBA. So basically, any students that do a MBA program with Monash Business School has to security and the comfort of knowing that our MBA program is basically internationally recognized and meets a certain level of quality and expectation. Same goes with the EQUIS and the other many accreditations, because it's not just the 3 that we have. We've got courses that are also accredited by CFA Australia, CPA Australia. So there's quite a variety of different accreditations available to make sure that students have the industry recognition and leverage when they go into the job market.
That's really great to hear that Monash University is continuously trying to, push the envelope. So speaking of opportunities, scholarships has always been a game changer for students. So what are the kind of scholarships or aid do Monash University provide for students?
Right. Okay, so standard scholarships for undergraduate students. So anyone looking to do a bachelor degree, we have the International Merit Scholarship and the International Leadership Scholarship. That is designed to basically encourage top performing students to do their best and to come to a Monash University to continue their studies. So the International Merit Scholarship, for example, gives a student $10,000 every year for the duration of their studies, where the International Leadership Scholarship provides a 100% scholarship for really top performing students who have shown exemplary achievements in academics, as well as any kind of extracurricular or outstanding awards or achievements that they've done in their past. Aside from that, because we're very focused on research and all, we also have scholarships for students looking to do the Masters of Commerce who are aiming to work their way towards a PhD. So there are generous scholarships for that as well.
That's incredible. We have a lot of opportunity at Monash for students. So what are the famous, or I can say the top or flagship programs at Monash University students can apply to?
Okay, we've got so many.
Just a few are fine.
We are actually Australia's largest business school, right? So that means we offer students the opportunity to major or specialize in quite a large range of different business skills. The most popular ones that we have right now from an undergraduate perspective would be our Bachelor of Business or Bachelor of Commerce. These two programs are what we call as comprehensive degrees. So it's great for students who just finished high school and know they want to go into business, but they haven't really decided what area of business they want to try. So the comprehensive degrees, like the two that I mentioned, allows students to try different areas of business before they make a decision on what major to focus on. But if you're looking at a postgraduate level, the most popular one would have to be either our Masters of Business, which is designed for freshers who have no work experience but want to learn additional business skills. And we accept students who don't even have a business background for that. We encourage students from, say, engineering or design who want to gain additional business knowledge to further their career prospects.
Right.
The other one that we have that's also really popular is our Masters of Management combined with a Masters of Global Business. This combination is what we call as a dual masters, and it allows students to complete 2 master's degrees in just 2 years.
Right.
So think of it like a really fast-track master's, but giving students the necessary skills to have a broad range of different career options.
Right. And how do you see the job market, like the job opportunities after completing these majors or programs?
Okay, so job market's generally pretty good, right? Depends on which country you're going to and the current economic situation in that country, of course. But using general Australia as a benchmark, right? If a student graduates with, say, a double major or a double degree, their career prospects are actually broader because it shows that they've not only specialized in one field, but they've also got a second field to focus in, right? So it provides them a variety of different career prospects. It shows that they have a diverse set of skills. At Monash University, we also encourage students to basically use their elective subjects to either do industry experience or internships, basically, or to go and do a international study tour where they get to learn from other universities or also interact with industry professionals from other countries so that they have a more global perspective of this of the industry that they're interested in.
Right. Incredible. Since you are working closely with students regarding the application and all, and while we're on the topic of applying to Monash, I want to ask what are some common mistakes students make, or some common pitfalls that they can avoid while applying?
Okay, good question. Common misconceptions is that they think if I'm studying a subject like marketing or management, I don't need maths. So that's a common question. That's a common mistake, right? So maths is actually essential for students wanting to come and study at Monash University, especially at an undergraduate level. So any bachelor program, majority of our bachelor programs require students to have mathematics as a prerequisite for entry. The reason for this is because even subjects like management or marketing, which one might assume is not as quantitatively heavy as finance or accounting, they still use mathematics. If you're doing marketing, for example, you need maths to understand your market research, marketing data. Management, you're definitely going to need maths to learn how to manage your budgets properly for your projects or for your organization. So one way or another, maths is unavoidable.
True, you can't run away from maths.
Mm.
So, since you are an alumni of Monash yourself,
Mhm.
so I want to ask, what was your experience in terms of studying there, the quality of education, the aids, and the opportunities after that?
Right. Okay, so you've done your research on who I am.
Right.
So Monash, for me, okay, been a while. I've been a student 20 years ago. I graduated 20 years ago, right? Give or take. So it's been quite a lot difference in terms of like the kind of services I had and the services available now. There's some opportunities I wish I had when I was a student that are available now for students. For example, the study tours, the ability to go to another campus, in, like I would say, for example, our Monash campus in Italy, to do a semester abroad. Those are great opportunities that are available now that I wish I had. But my experience as a student, I went to the Peninsula campus when I studied. So for those of you who are not familiar, Monash has 4 main campuses. So we have a Caulfield and Clayton campus, then we have Peninsula and Parkville. So Peninsula campus is a little bit far from Melbourne City. It's about 90 minutes by public transport, but I found that environment to be very wholesome and very a good way for a student to actually center themselves and focus on their studies, because I found that being in the city, knowing my style of studying, I would have been too distracted living in the city center. Frankston gave me the opportunity to come out of my shell, interact with the students. I, in the end, ended up being part of the student union as well. So it was a great way to meet students from other cultures, other backgrounds, and basically expand my network and horizons. The staff was also really, really friendly. My professors basically were the kind that didn't like to use their honorifics.
Okay.
They actually rather I call them by their first name, right? So
Oh.
it formed that kind of more of a mentor-mentee kind of relationship rather than just a academic and a student.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Understood. Yeah. So since we're talking about your experience, you
Mhm.
were also an international student,
Mhm.
and I would like you to tell our students like what were the challenges you faced and how did you bounce back? Because I think students will love to hear a real advice coming from someone who himself has been an international student and experienced all those things.
Oh, I have plenty of advice and experience on that one. I came from Malaysia originally. I joined the July intake, and bear in mind this was 20 years ago, so Google was not really established yet.
Yeah.
So I went to Melbourne thinking, July, it's Australia doesn't have snow that much, so it's not going to be that cold. Coming from a tropical country, I was freezing. So my advice, if you're joining the July intake and you're coming from summery India to wintry Australia, wear extra layers, pack extra layers on the plane. But for me, I think my advice is, if you're living away from home for the first time, away from the family, being responsible for your own bills, your own cost of living, all that, make sure you budget properly. And it's
Very important.
don't be ashamed to ask for help. The university has a great financial advice team that can help you guide you through managing your budget, and they've helped me massively because it was a bit of a shock. I was like, when I first arrived, every single cent cent, I was doing mental conversions, thinking, okay, I'm converting the currency from Australian to ringgit. And then I realized it's not actually a very healthy thing to do.
Right.
It's good to manage your budget, yes, but at the same time, you have to be aware as a business student, especially, that cost of living varies from country to country. And what you find might be expensive is actually affordable by Australian standards. So you'd have to be mindful about that. And that's where the financial planning and the financial advice comes in. I would also say take the effort to use the opportunity actually when you're living on your own with other for your first time without any support networks. Interact with other students, meet students from other cultures. It helps you learn from other people's experiences, because we only have such a finite number of years, right? We can't experience everything. So if you learn from other people's experiences, it's a good opportunity to broaden your understanding of the world.
Right. Those are some really great advices you gave. And I think students should take notes for that. So speaking of living cost and the financial management, the main concern for students like finding a job after completing their degree. So tell us more about the industry partnerships of Monash University, and how does the university ensure that the students get placed after completing their degree?
Sure. Because we are Australia's largest business school, and we have quite a large alumni network and reputation. Our international reputation is pretty strong. Right. We actually work with over 500 different companies to provide students industry experience. I strongly encourage for students, if they want to be competitive in the job market, take opportunity to do these industry placements. Do more than one if you can. If you have the enough elective slots, you can actually do more than one internship. The reason why I encourage them to do this is because it helps them form that understanding of the different workplace environments in Australia. It gives them an Australian work experience, and it looks good in their CV when they apply for jobs. It's basically a good way for through all these industry partners that we have, it's a good way for students to see, like what's the professional work experience, the professional standards that students are expected to have. When they graduate as well, we have a service called Graduate Development Services, and they maintain a database of graduate positions available for students. They also organize different graduate career fair days, where we invite companies to come down, meet with our students, and talk to them about different graduate positions and how to apply for it, to find out what companies are looking for in students, and so that they can prepare for their applications. There are also one popular event that we recommend. Highly recommend students to attend is the alumni networking evenings, or industry mentorship networking evenings. In the business sector, it's not so much about what you know, but it's also about who you know. So these networking events are a great way for students to meet with industry professionals, network with them, make yourself stand out from your very first semester, right? And if you can secure it, try and get a mentor from your very first semester onwards, because the mentors that attend these alumni and networking evenings, they are there to help guide students from the very first moment that they form the mentorship relationship all the way to their first year of their career, to help you get started along your journey. I've got friends who are mentors to 5 students, and she was an alumni graduate from the business faculty.
So it's great to know that Monash has such a good support system for students, and it really does make a difference. So speaking of Monash, let's talk about the campus life there. Since a lot of people don't know, can you paint us a picture of what's it's like being at Monash University? What's the campus life there?
Okay, so earlier, remember how I said that my academics, they were on a first name basis with me, right? So that's the general vibe that you get at Monash University. It's a very community focused, everyone's trying to make each other feel comfortable in the campus, right? So it's from the support staff to the academics, they're all very friendly, very supportive, happy to learn, hear what issues or problems a student might be facing. But aside from that, it's a lot of students are that study at Monash, they're very outgoing, very personable. They try and make the most out of their student life. So I would encourage any student who's looking to study with us, to basically take advantage of that environment, that mentality, and participate in different clubs, societies, because it's not just about studying, right? Take some time to find some balance of
Right.
work, of study, and of the clubs and societies, so that you can engage with different social activities, meet other people. We have over 300 different types of clubs across all 3 campuses, from ranging from sports. So if you like cricket, for example, we've got a cricket team. Or if you like Harry Potter, for example, we've got a Harry Potter club. We even have student teams that are actually competing in different industry challenges. For example, we have a Monash Motorsports, Monash Motorsports group. They compete in Formula One. So it's a student-based Formula One. It's largely run by the engineering students, but Monash has a business school has commerce students also as part of the team, because like every other sporting industry, they need managers, they need human resource people, they need someone to negotiate marketing and endorsement deals, right? So that's what our commerce students do for these kind of sporting teams. And it's a great way to try your hand at running a student organization while engaging with industry professionals, like say using Motorsports GP, for example, industry professionals who are in the automotive industry, the fuel industry, even the tire industry, right?
Right.
So you negotiate with these people, you form contracts with them, you form business connections with them. It's a great way to build your work experience and your CV at the same time, while having fun, obviously. We even have a team that is building a Mars unmanned rover. So
Mars unmanned rover.
yes, that's right.
Sounds
So
interesting.
we have engineering, IT, and commerce students, right? They are involved in a team which is developing a kind of unmanned robot drone to explore Mars, and it's part of a space exploration program.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I know, right? So these are different things that Monash offers, right? We always encourage students to be as creative and inventive and just to have fun, basically, while studying. And if you can't find a club or society that you want, you can very easily start your own. So in addition to the different flagship programs or the popular programs that we have, Monash also encourages students to be future entrepreneurs, basically. Someone who can think of big business ideas that can actually improve society, or to generate sustainable business practices, right? So we actually have a program available to all students, regardless of whatever course they choose. It is a competitive program to get into, but it's called Fast Track. And how Fast Track works is basically students are who have a business idea, who have a budding entrepreneurship idea, right? They're encouraged to apply for the Fast Track program using their elective units. And this program, over the course of 2 semesters, will guide them through how to refine their business ideas, how to establish a pitch, how to secure any kind of like venture capital investments, how to find backers, basically. Right. And then by the end of the 2 semesters, they actually do a pitch to potential backers. From this program, we've had quite a few students who have managed to launch on their little entrepreneurship endeavors, right? One of it is called Wonky. Now, Wonky was a business idea pitched by 3 students from our business faculty, and they came up with the idea of how to reduce food wastage from farms who had fruits and vegetables that didn't look right for sale in a supermarket because it doesn't look pretty.
Yeah.
But they took it's still usable, so they took those fruits and vegetables and turned it into an alcoholic beverage. So it reduces waste. It continues supporting local farmers who are producing these vegetables and making sure that they get paid a fair share. And the alcoholic beverages are now currently being sold across supermarkets in Australia. So the students pitched the idea, they managed to get a backer, and now is being distributed Australia-wide. So one of the many success stories that we've gotten from the Fast Track program. Another one that we had was a collaboration between a commerce student and an engineering student who came up with an idea to detect parasites inside a beehive that could destroy a beehive colony, right? So it's called the Purple Bee Honey Project. And from that, they've actually developed a range of honey that is sold across Australia now. And the money that they sell goes towards the conservation and protection and the further development of this technology to help protect the honeybee population, which is slowly dwindling and becoming endangered. So it's a very good initiative, and it's all thanks in part to all the different entrepreneurship initiatives that Monash offers.
Right, it sounds so fascinating and interesting actually. And it's really great that in this economy where startups are a trend, Monash University is providing students such a great platform to start their own venture and pitch their ideas actually. It's really helpful.
Yes, and a great way for them to get guidance and mentorship from actual entrepreneurs as well.
Right, yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it does sound like that. The campus life there is very vibrant and there's something for everyone there.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I have one last question for you, Patrick. Since you've been living in Australia for so long, I want to ask, like, what are some Aussie terms or slangs you have learned while living there?
Oh gosh. Australian slangs. Gee. Okay. I'm really bad with Australian slangs.
It's okay.
So ankle biter, for example, is for little kids.
Okay.
Don't ask me how it came about. I'm not 100% sure why they call it ankle biter, but it is a term used for small kids.
Okay.
There's things like I'm sure a lot of you probably heard, like, putting a shrimp on the barbie means putting a prawn on the barbecue.
Yeah.
There's fair dinkum, which means like good question or good point kind of thing. But yeah, my Aussie slang is really bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm always had struggles trying to understand it.
I know they're very different and they're very hard to understand because they're completely different from what they mean actually.
Exactly, right? I mean, coming from an Asian background and all that, it's what they say is completely different and it takes a while. My friends actually got me a book about Australian slangs and I could not. I never finished reading it.
I can understand. It can be daunting
It
to
is.
understand all the, like, what does this mean and why do we call this?
Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much, Patrick, for
Nice.
giving us your time
My pleasure.
and sharing your expertise with us. It was a lovely chat and I think it was a great session, insightful session. I think it will help a lot of students as much as it helped me today. I got to learn a lot of things about Monash and Australian education. So thank you so much again for joining us and coming to our show.
Nice. My pleasure. It's been great fun chatting with you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to welcoming any students coming from India. And if you have any questions, they're more than welcome to contact AECC for advice, or also to check out our website, because we do occasional webinars as well,
Right.
where you can meet and talk with our students as well. Yeah.
So to all our viewers, if you have any question, any doubts, or you want to apply to Monash University, please drop a comment or connect with AECC. We are here to help and happy to help. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more such videos. See you in the next one.